my story on the Sherry Bronson Show. Real struggles, real victory. Real faith, real struggles, real victory.
Hi, I'm Sherry Bronson. Welcome to the show. Our guest today is Sonya J. Wells. She's a lifestyle transformation strategist and a speaker. She's here to share her personal testimony and how she is using the Word of God to empower and educate women. Sonya, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I want us to talk about your personal testimony before you get to talking with us about Women on Wings, because I know that's something that's close to your heart.
Yes.
Now, I got to learn more about you and your mom having schizophrenia, but how old were you when you all discovered she had schizophrenia?
I think I was about 6 or 7 years old when I recall that. Yeah.
Now, the question is, as a woman, my mom raised 12 kids,
Wow.
7 girls, 5 boys. And it's hard for moms to give the love, the equal love to all their kids. And I never excuse kids who, suffer with, I was one of those kids that felt the other kids were favored.
We all feel like that.
Yeah, okay. And well said. Thank you. I don't feel alone. Now, I want you to talk about the relationship with your mother. With you being so young, what was your relationship like with your mother?
Okay, Sherry, my mom was so consumed with her own stuff that she didn't really give us the love that I needed. And the one thing that I remember being a little girl, the way that I got love from my mother is that I would go and lay my head on her lap for her to clean my ears out. And that was the way that I experienced a touch and love from her, because she was always consumed with her own stuff and, men. And when she got sick, there was a total emotional disconnect there. So as a child growing up, I knew my mother loved me, but I never experienced it or knew it within my heart.
I got you. Now, I will talk more about that because I have a question more about the love question, but I want you to now talk about, the relationship of, you're a kid and your mom is mentally ill. Were you ever embarrassed by that as you grew older and your teen? Oh, yes. Okay. Sonya.
People don't really know the plight of a child that's raised by a mentally ill parent. You have parents who are alcoholics, who are, drug addicts or abuse, but a mentally ill mother, the thing that happens when you have a mother that's mentally ill, it's what you call type A trauma. You're denied certain things that you're supposed to have as a child, like nurturing, like affection, like, to be spoken, to be your spirit to be spoken to feel protected, to feel secure. The roles end up being reversed because that necessary emotional bond that you need, that creates identity and helps you relate to other people, is now missing. And so because she never was able to give that to me because of her own issues, you have to learn to create your own coping mechanisms.
That's powerful.
And so that's what I learned to do, and that's one of the reasons I know we're going to talk about my issues with authority. Yes.
And I want you to stop right there, because you just said something so powerful, that the need of the child has now, and I can relate to this, where you're now a mother, a surrogate mother. And I want you to talk about that, where it's like you're like, for instance, for me, being the 9th child of the younger. So my mom was always working, and she had her issues, and then I had to step up and grow up early. I had to become a woman young, helping raise younger kids. So tell me what it was like to be a surrogate mother to a degree, because your mom is officially not mentally and emotionally able to provide and nourish her role as a mom. Talk about Jesus, take you to church, take you to school, take you to the mall without having an episode. Talk to us about that.
Well, one of the things that I just kind of took on that role, because I felt like I had to be the protector of my siblings. Now, I can't say she did count on me to do that. I learned how to write checks real early. I learned how to go to the grocery store and shop. I learned how to cook real early. taking on that role, though, when I was young, I felt like it was necessary because I had to look out for my siblings.
Yeah.
I had to protect them. And the reason I felt so strongly about protecting them was because I didn't feel like I had anybody to protect me. So I needed to protect them. And so I took this whole mothering role on because I felt like it was necessary. Now, as I got older, I realized that I had not let that role go. When I started getting older in my 20s and my 30s, I mean, I had my baby sister who is very near and dear to me. I literally had to tell her, I cut the apron string. I mean, you gotta go. You gotta grow up. I can't be there for you like that anymore. Yeah. But when I got older, I realized I was angry. I became angry at the fact that nobody was ever there for me. Nobody ever looked out for Sonya. And one of the things that I used to do all the time, I used to be a fighter. I used to fight everybody in the neighborhood, any adult figure, any authority figure. I used to fight because nobody ever seemed to care about me. Nobody ever seemed to look out for me. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't, but in my mind's eye, that's how I felt. I got to look out for me and my siblings, because a lot of times we end up being moved around from one place to another whenever my mom got sick. Now, she wasn't sick the whole period of her life, childhood, but she would have episodes where she would, end up going back to Pineville, to the Pineville Hospital in Louisiana.
I know
and
about
so,
that.
or LSU in Shreveport. So we would have episodes where we would have to go, some of us would go stay with one person, some of us would go stay with others, because it was six of us.
Yep.
And so, but I always felt like I got to protect my siblings. Yes. And I was angry and I would fight.
And let's talk about that, because that anger is coming from a broken person.
Oh, yeah.
And let's talk about this. Yeah, that's what this is about. And I want you to talk about the authority piece that you struggle with from being broken and angry.
Just thinking about it now kind of makes heat come up on me. I was angry because why did my mother have to be like this? That's how I felt. I would really be ashamed and embarrassed, when she came to school sometimes. My mother's like 6'2", and kids would mock her when she came to school to see about us. She never seemed to be able to come. When she did come, she didn't protect me in my eyes. When I felt like I was being mistreated by a teacher or a principal, I never felt like she was there to protect me. So I never had anybody to call to say, can you come and see about me? Whenever she did come, my mother was very passive in her mannerisms, so she never did defend me. So I felt like I had to defend myself.
And that's all. It sounded like, and before we go to break, Sonya, it sounded like you had a built up bitterness and resentment.
Oh, big time.
All of that was just spewing out, and that's why you became such a fighter.
Oh,
and you were so angry. And
Without
of
doubt.
course, we're going to talk about your deliverance, because you needed it. We will be right back. Everybody will come right back. We need to take a break to pay the bills. We'll be right back with more of the show.
Holy Arm Ministries presents the Power of Prayer Impartation Breakfast 2014. Dynamic speakers include host Pastor Paula Smith, Dr. Sheila Boutin, Pastor Teresa Hayes, and special guest Psalmist Janine Atkins, and all-inclusive breakfast buffet. Come experience the presence, the passion, and the power of God. Registration is $40. For more information, log on to
Closed captioning has been brought to you by Blazin' Blake Productions.
Hi, I'm Paula Smith, author and founder of the Easy Step Learning Series. Our mission is to transform and empower lives in a technology global society. Easy Step Learning Series are training guides for the Microsoft Office family. Do you need a job? Are you looking for a promotion? Take your technology skills to the next level and get certified. Make the Tech Connect at www.easysteplearningseries.com. Be encouraged and reach the unthinkable and be the unbelievable.
Welcome back to the show. We want to continue our conversation with Sonya J. Wells. She's sharing her personal testimony right now with us about her mom suffering from mental illness and how she was able to forgive her mom. I'm gonna assume that you were able to do that, Sonya.
Without a doubt.
What did that process take?
Oh, well, make a long story short, I really went through inner healing and deliverance ministry, really, because I was very angry. I was angry at her, my dad, at God, at authority, and, you know, being a minister, I wore that mask really well, and I thought I was okay, till one day I met someone, someone who I call a spiritual father, who really pointed out and said, that woman right there has a lot of pain. And I'm thinking, who, me? And I did, but he really took me through inner healing and deliverance ministry, which really began to reveal to me how broken I was.
Let's get to that, because we need to get to that, because salvation, our soul salvation, the free gift from God. That is, hearing your story. Anybody who's watching this show today, who is dealing with anything, no matter what you're going through, I don't care how many couches you sit on, Jesus is the answer.
Oh my goodness.
It does not matter how many people, how many drugs they give you, whatever it is to medicate the issue, the core, the root cause of this anger and of all these issues you have. And so that brings us right into soul salvation. And why did you call your salvation an awakening?
I call it an awakening because I believe we go through awakenings throughout our lives, number one. But the scripture says in Ephesians that you who were dead in sin and trespassing, he has quickened and made alive. So we are asleep to a certain degree. We are asleep in our spirit. Our spirit man is dead, and death is nothing but a sleep. And so when I came to recognize, when God touched my spirit and awakened me, that's what I felt like. I began to see. And the song that came to my mind was the song Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. I once was blind, but now I see. Because that's what happened. I literally remember saying, I see, I see, I see. And I saw everything that the enemy had been trying to do to me. Not only to me, but me to myself. Because when we're broken, you're self-destructive. Because you're trying to meet legitimate needs in illegitimate ways. And so I was sleeping around, drinking. I was doing everything to try to fill that void that I had in my life. Because not only did I have a mother wound, I had a father wound as well. And so when I awakened, it's like God he brought me to a consciousness, a God consciousness, because that's what awakening is. He brought me to a God consciousness, and I began to recognize, first of all, that I was loved, that I was somebody, that God had been protecting me all of my life, and everything that I had gone through was purposeful for what I do even right now.
That's powerful,
powerful. Yeah.
What comes to my spirit is one watereth, another, one planteth, one water, but God give the increase.
He did.
So along the way, God was planting seeds, putting people in your life to show you his love.
Oh, he did.
But I want to know, who was the person who led you to Christ?
Oh my God, there were two people, I think, actually. There was a school teacher that was one of my school teachers. She was one person. I used to watch her in church, and she was very quiet and meek, and she would just raise her hand. She didn't do a whole lot of shouting, but it was something about her. I saw God in her. But it was my brother, Pastor Donald Smith, who was younger than me, that actually would pray for me and would talk to me about Jesus. And I would tell him, get out of my face. I don't want to hear about no Jesus. I don't want to go to church. And I remember when I was getting ready to move to Dallas, he said, you're not going to Dallas until you get saved, because I was moving here to model. And I said, I don't know who you think you are. I'm going to Dallas. But he led me to Christ at a Bible study. And that's the day that I woke up and I saw, and he was teaching a Bible study, and I said, I see in that Bible study. I will never forget it. But he used to pray for me and try to minister to me, and I'd be like, boy, you better get out of my face.
And I think you shared with me that you were talking about you had been drinking and you were drunk and doing all these things. And the reason I say that, everybody, is because we have to really let people know that we were broken. Before we were up shouting and doing our holiness walk, we were broken. Some on drugs, some in abusive relationship. It's all kinds of things we're dealing with. And the point is, there's nothing that God can't deliver you from. And that's why I wanted to hear your story.
Yeah, I remember right before my awakening, I was driving from Shreveport to Mansfield to pick up my husband from work, and I don't even remember. All I remember is getting in the car and driving down I-49. And I was so drunk that I don't remember anything other than, getting in the car and my husband getting in the car after I picked him up from work. But the day of my awakening, God showed me this huge angel, and I literally saw this huge angel riding on the hood of my car. That God says, I had angels protecting you, because I totally had blacked out, because I had been smoking marijuana and drinking, and had a boyfriend on the side.
Yeah.
I had it all going on.
That's real talk.
All of it. But God showed me that this huge angel, and I'll never forget it, and I've seen the angels many times, but that particular day, God let me know that I was protecting you. That's why when I say I see, because God just showed me. It's like he just took me back and let me see everything that I had gone through, that he was there the whole time. And he had a purpose and a plan at the end of it all. And what looked like destruction, God was going to take and use to bring others to wholeness and transformation. That's why I love doing what I do.
Amen to that, Sonya.
I
want to shout. I want you to talk about, from all of that you're now called to be a minister. How does that work? How does God speak to you?
God spoke to me because I used to pray all the time. And I was in my children's room, and I was on my knees praying. And I heard God say, I call you to be a prophet to the nations, to set the captive free. I can't remember everything, but all I know is, I said, who, me? Me? And God said, yes, you. He said, do I need to turn your hands white with leprosy? And I remember my hands just being on fire. And I was wringing my hands like this for you to believe me and to accept that I called you. Now, from that time of that calling to present, there's been a mighty long journey.
Amen.
But I remember that call very well.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it, because coming from where I came from in Louisiana, women did not preach.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about a prophet.
That's right.
Then I had never read it in the Bible. So it was totally something.
Yeah, this is that culture thing and religion.
Yeah. So I had no idea what a prophet was. I had no idea. But I know God would wake me up and have me praying for people that I didn't even know. And I had many occasions where he would tell me to go to church, and such is going to be there, and you're going to minister to her, and you're going to tell her such and such. A lady on my job, he sent me to my job one time and told me to get up and go tell this lady that everything's going to be okay. I can't remember. They had been fighting all night. Right. But he would just give me different things that were going on with people, and I would go to them, and they would look at me like, how do you know when you're looking through my window? I didn't know. And I was young. I was in my late 20s, so I was clueless, because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody to tell me. I was just trying to figure this thing out by myself, and that's what I had to do. But it wasn't somebody coming and prophesying to me, you're a prophet.
Right,
it wasn't
that's what I'm saying. Okay.
God spoke it in my spirit.
God did.
God spoke it in my spirit. And I took that to heart, and I studied, and I went to training. I did everything I could do so that I could be qualified and equipped to do the work that he had called me to do. But he had already qualified me.
Amen. Say that. Say that. Amen to that.
He had already qualified
because a
me.
lot of people seeking it from other people for their approval, but it comes from above.
Oh, it came from him all the way.
Amen.
Because if it wasn't for those different encounters, you have to have those encounters, Sherry. Because when God calls you, there's going to be many things that come to discourage you, to make you want to quit. And it's those things that even now I go back to. Those are my anchors. Those are the things that I stand in. Because many days I have wanted to quit. Many days I have lost heart and just being discouraged. But I remember the call. I remember the call.
Thank you, Sonya. All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Hi, this is Blake Lindsay. I want to help you grow your business with first-rate audio.
Hi, I'm Sherry Bronson, TV host of Dream by Faith. I wanted to give a stamp of approval for Blazing Blake Productions. Awesome and excellent work that is done by Blake Lindsay. I would recommend him to anyone in the community who does television, radio, or any media productions.
Your satisfaction is my guarantee.
Easy Steps Learning Series have launched a series of training guides for Microsoft Office products. The series include Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, and Excel. The training guides are affordable, easy to use, step-by-step, and interactive. Each guide meets the objectives of the Microsoft certification exams. Don't get left behind in your technology skills. We have the right learning solution for you. Make the Tech Connect and visit our website at www.easysteplearningseries.com.
The Valder Beebe Show, That Celebrity Interview, a new kind of talk show, broadcasting on FM radio, social media sites, and Dallas television. Visit ValderBeebeShow.com.
Holy Arm Ministries presents the Power of Prayer Impartation Breakfast 2014. Dynamic speakers include host Pastor Paula Smith, Dr. Sheila Boutin, Pastor Teresa Hayes, and special guest Psalmist Janine Atkins, and all-inclusive breakfast buffet. Come experience the presence, the passion, and the power of God. Registration is $40. For more information, log on to www.powerofprayerconference.org.
Hi, and welcome back to the show. We want to continue our conversation with Sonya J. Wells. She's sharing her personal testimony with us. And Sonya, I want you to tell us, now we need to talk about, you are experienced, you're equipped, you're qualified. Life has really whipped you up.
Yes.
I could just say that. And Jesus has come in and delivered you, woman.
Amazing.
This is true.
Amazing.
Now, I want you to talk about, why is women's ministry important?
Women's ministry is important. I can say this without even questioning, because women are at the center of the nucleus of society, which is the family. And if the woman is out of order, everything is out of order. For every woman that's broken, there's a broken little girl, a broken little boy, and even a broken man. And so I believe this, as a poem says, we are the hands that rock the cradle, therefore we are the hands that rule the world. So, I mean, you got to think about it. We are, because even our President Barack Obama, his mom rocked his cradle, and look where he sits. She may not physically be there ruling, but her son is. So it's important for us as women to be healed and whole. We make up the majority of the church, the workplace, so many areas of life. So we have to be healed. We have to be whole. It's necessary.
That's powerful.
Yes.
And just listening to you, it's obvious that your life has prepared you for this ministry that you have, that God has birthed, and it's called Women on Wings Spiritual Enrichment and Personal Development Program. And I want you to share with us how it was birthed and how God revealed this to you.
I had a dream, and God woke me up one morning, and he said women would soar in this next prophetic hour like never before, and they would soar in every area of life, because we would have influence from the boardroom to the bedroom. Apostolic prophetic movement would come through the woman. And so that's why I feel called. I literally feel a mandate. God said, you are a general. I've raised you as a general. I've given you a mandate to bring healing and wholeness and transformation in the lives of women. And not just women that are in the body of Christ, but women in the world. Because I want to go out and get those young women that's living in those low-income places. They don't know who they are, because they are the ones that's raising up the next generation of leaders.
Yes. Yes,
without a doubt.
That's well said, because I think as Christians we cannot forget we're called to everybody, to the lost, to the broken, and that's what we cannot forget. Your story, Sonya, you cannot forget. There's another girl, another woman who's going through it right now as we sit here and speak. It is real. Now I want you to talk about the kind of the mission. Talk with us about, you say empower, but give us more meat on what you're going to be doing.
Women on Wings mission is to enrich, to equip, to empower, and bring wholeness, deliverance, and transformation. Because the core of what I do is inner healing and deliverance ministry. And I don't do it in a traditional way that most people do it. I do it, God has given me a very strategy to really bring wholeness and healing. So we have 3 trimesters. God said, you're going to birth them, you're going to carry them under your wings for 9 months, because 9 is the number of maturation and manifestation. And during those 9 months, the first trimester we deal with the inner you, the darkness within. The second trimester we deal with the authentic you, the true essence of who God called you you to be. And then the third trimester, we deal with the purpose of you. Why did God call you? And so they meet with me. They spend time with me doing group and as well as one-on-one. We have lots of things going on, but it's an amazing journey, and I'm so excited because my first group of women are going to be having our birthing out ceremony where I have prophetic presbytery come in and minister to them and just really birth them out and really push them out into their destiny.
Okay, so we don't scare off the people who are not saved. If I was a woman watching this right now and I say, man, I'm not a Christian, is this for me? Is this something for me?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm very, I'm on the real. I'm not just super deep and spiritual or religious by no means. So it's for that woman who is really serious and just tired of struggling and feeling stuck. One of the things that caused me to birth this out is because of a void that I had in my own life. And a lot of women, to be quite honest, a lot of women have hard times having a relationship with their mothers. That is very common, and I won't go into details about that, but God has given me a mothering spirit. And I want to be able to take those women, young women between the age of 25 to 35, and I've had older women, I had an older woman in it as well, and just really, really help you, nurture you. Because whether you realize it or not, we all, that need that you had, that legitimate need to be nurtured, to be guided and covered, is still there. It never goes away. It doesn't. And see,
I'm a woman.
I was deceived into thinking that, but it doesn't go away, and we still need that. So it's not just super spiritual and biblical, but I deal with anything. They can come to me and talk about anything: marriage, purpose, life, business, anything.
Thank you, Sonya. Thank you for that. So what is next for Sonya as we close the program today?
What's next for me is my nonprofit called the Total Transformed Woman, which is going to be that organization that's going to go into the inner cities, inner communities, and get those women and bring them into this program. So I'm working on that right now with a grant writer to get that off the ground.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Cannot forget the lost. Cannot forget them. You cannot help who you were born to. We cannot help that at all.
No.
And I thank God for you, Sonya. Thank you for being my guest today. We'll put up your information about when your next workshop is so they can connect with you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the Sherry Bronson Show. Please connect with us on Facebook.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And until I see you next time, keep dreaming by faith.
Real struggles, real victory. I am an overcomer. I am sharing a story of how I found the victory. Let's talk about faith and hope. I'm sharing my story on the Sherry Bronson Show. Real struggles, real victory. Real faith, real struggles, real victory.
Opinions expressed in this show do not reflect the views of KTXD Television and its affiliates. This has been a Bronson Media TV production.